welcome. Today, the Living with Wildlife Illinois team is talking about three large carnivores in Illinois: the gray wolf, the black bear, and the mountain lion, also known as the cougar. I'm Laura Kamen.
Hi, and I'm Kathy Andrews Wright. Today we have with us Stefanie Fitzsimons. Stefanie is one of the wildlife biologists with the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, and Stefanie is going to give us a little bit more of a background on herself.
Yeah, I'm Stefanie Fitzsimons. My official title is District Wildlife Biologist. My district includes Lake County, McHenry County, and Kane County. But as of April 1st, I was temporarily assigned as the Wildlife Disease Biologist and Large Carnivore Biologist for the state. So in my regular job, I handle a lot of hunting programs and things like that, nuisance wildlife calls. But now I'm also handling some of our wildlife disease programs and then any large carnivore sightings and events that the state has.
Very good. So in recent years, there have been multiple confirmed sightings of all three of these species: black bear, gray wolves, and cougars in Illinois. And while they're rare now, historically, there were populations of these species in the state. So I was wondering if you could give the viewers just sort of a little bit of background about sort of the history of each of these species in the state and kind of bring us up to speed on documented sightings over the past few years.
Sure. As far as the three main large carnivores that we could possibly see in Illinois, all three of these species were they were all eliminated in the 1800s, and that was due to habitat being taken away, overhunting, and things like that. We kind of pushed them out. So we really haven't had any breeding populations. Well, we definitely haven't had any breeding populations since the 1800s. As far as cougars, we have had confirmed sightings of cougars in Illinois. So we've actually had 4 cases where remains were recovered from 4 cougars. In 2002, in Randolph County, there was a cougar that was killed by a train that we were able to recover and confirm that it was an actual cougar. Mercer County, in 2004, a cougar was killed by a bow hunter, and we were able to recover that carcass and confirm that it was a cougar. Cook County, actually in downtown Chicago in 2008, law enforcement had to put a cougar down, and we were able to confirm that it was actually a cougar from those remains. And in Whiteside County, our conservation police had to put a cougar down in recent years that was on somebody's land and kind of damaging property. We've also had a couple of images from trail cams that were confirmed in 2012 and 2014 that there was a cougar wandering through, but those animals were never actually seen in person. As far as wolves, we've had actually 11 confirmed gray wolves in Illinois. Wolves are a little bit harder to ID unless you actually have a specimen to take DNA from. They get confused with coyotes quite a bit, or the coy wolf. So unless we have an actual carcass to confirm, it's very hard to confirm if it's an actual gray wolf or not. But we've had 11 cases in Illinois in recent decades that there's actually been, we've been able to do DNA analysis and confirm that they're gray wolves. A lot of those were actually males and females, but they were very young animals. And with all three of these species, usually the younger animals are going to be out wandering, trying to find territory of their own. With bears, it's usually males that tend to wander, cougars as well. But with wolves, both genders seem to wander a little bit. And then as far as black bears, we've had a couple of cases in the recent 2 decades. In 2008, we had one in Bureau County. it hasn't been officially determined, but DNR is thinking that that was actually a captive bear that got out. So that was captured and taken into custody. In 2009, there was a bear that was wandering on the Iowa side of the Mississippi River, and he actually came over into Illinois near Savannah, stayed a while, and then wandered into Wisconsin. In 2014, we had a black bear that wandered down from Wisconsin into the Galena area, actually made it over to Rockford, down to Rochelle, and then wandered back up into Wisconsin. In 2019, there was DNA analysis done on some scat and some tampered with beehives that indicated that black bear had been in the area. Nobody actually saw the animal, but it was confirmed that the damage was done by black bear. And then the most recent one was this year, 2020. We had a bear come down from Wisconsin June 10th, hang around in Illinois until about June 30th, and then cross over into Missouri.
Thank you for that background information, Stefanie. All three of these large carnivores have similarities in their habitat requirements. Their territories are vastly different, but similar habitats. Does Illinois have any habitat that would support a viable breeding population of any of these large carnivores?
Yeah, all of these animals need substantial sized habitat. Throughout the state, there might be about 15% of the state that could offer a viable habitat for them, mainly down near the Shawnee National Forest. There's a possibility of, maybe a little bit in central Illinois along the Illinois River, but these animals need very large areas, and they do tend to roam quite a bit. So the possibility of having breeding populations of any of these large carnivores is very slim. Possibly black bears need the smallest amount of area, so it's possible maybe in the distant future we could have a breeding population of black bear, but just the likelihood is not there. They are going to definitely use our state to walk through and as a corridor, but in order to have a breeding population, you need a lot of space, you need a lot of food. So we just don't have that habitat to offer these guys.
So even though we may not have the habitat to support populations in the state, all three species, the black bear, the cougar, and the gray wolf, they're all protected in Illinois, correct?
Correct, yeah. So as of January 1st, 2015, the state passed the Large Carnivore Bill. So the Large Carnivore Act actually protects our three main large carnivores, our three guys, your gray wolf, your cougar, and your black bear. So they are all protected. Black bears and cougars, unless your property or yourself is being threatened, you cannot hunt or harass them. Gray wolves are actually federally endangered, so you're going to have a really good reason if you feel you need to take one of those wolves. So yeah, they're all protected. They cannot be hunted in the state, and they should not be harassed.
And so while sightings of these three are still pretty rare, it seems likely that we'll keep getting these species coming through Illinois, especially the juveniles, as you mentioned before. So what's your advice for people if they do see one of these three species?
Definitely report it to us right away. Either go on the Wildlife Illinois website. There's an area that you can report online, or contact your conservation officer so that they can contact us. We do monitor confirmed sightings, and even if we get a lot of times possible sightings that we need to go investigate. So we do monitor all of these sightings on our large carnivore database for future references, but definitely report any sightings that you have so that your local district wildlife biologist can can determine if a site visit is necessary so that we can help, try to eliminate any human-animal conflicts in the future.
This has been really great information to have, Stefanie. We really appreciate your time on that. Is there anything else you want to share with us? Anything about the black bear, the wolf, or the mountain lion?
Sure. So one of the issues that we had with this most recent black bear in Illinois was that a lot of people wanted to share in its journey, and a lot of people went out and took pictures and wanted to watch it and everything, and there was a lot of overcrowding. And our conservation police had to be very heavy-handed in helping it cross the road and everything. This is not only the case just with black bears, but with any large carnivore. It's neat to see these guys here, but their existence while they're in Illinois is 100% dependent on how people act around it. So if there is a confirmed sighting, if you do see one of these, please let us know, let the conservation police know, so that we can, properly assess the situation. And if we need to step in, we can step in. But definitely don't approach these animals. They're large carnivores for a reason. So definitely try to respect their existence and keep a safe distance. And anytime that you encounter one, please let us know so that the specialist can take care of the situation.
That is very good advice. Thanks, Stefanie. So that wraps it up for today's Q&A on large carnivores in Illinois. We will be hosting our next Q&A on how to coexist with wildlife. So we hope you keep those questions coming. Until then, we'll see you next time.